Halo Reach might take place before most of the previous games in the series, but it also feels like a totally solid stopping point for Bungie, the development house that created the franchise. Sure enough, those guys are moving on to something new, and they're going out in style. Reach has a multiplayer component that goes deeper than it ever has before, with new options to tweak in custom games, expanded options for getting into games with other players that you may or may not know, and a new psych profile system that might actually help in the fight against the stereotypically intolerant base of players that tend to flock to the Halo franchise and then immediately call you bad things for not playing it right. Is it wrong that whenever I think about those guys, I think of a young Fred Durst wearing an Xbox Live headset? Anyway, along with that multiplayer comes a fresh new campaign that tells one of the best stories that the Halo universe has had. You play as a new addition to Noble Team, a crew of Spartans stationed on the UNSC headquarters world of Reach. If you've been following the Halo fiction, then you probably already know that the Covenant invasion of Reach is one of those early period events that set up the core Halo trilogy. But don't take that to mean that you're going to be covering known territory. The story is the Reach campaign's greatest strength as it tells the tale of the fall of Reach from the perspective of these 6 Spartans. Sure, you know the planet is going down, but the specifics of the invasion are much more interesting when seen through the eyes of your own personal Noble 6. 6 is the character you'll control in the story, and he, or she if you'd rather, is a new addition to the team. The characters are solid and help make the story feel more personal, though in action the Spartans fighting alongside you aren't much more effective than any other Halo AI ally has been in the past. You're the one doing most of the shooting. The campaign offers up some interesting twists, but you'll quickly recognize it as the standard Halo campaign in style and length. I feel that the pacing falls a little flat during the last couple of missions. It essentially gets to this point where you sort of know exactly how the rest of the game's going to go, and the story even implies that you're supposed to be in a hurry, and then it places a mountain full of dudes in your way. At that point, the general combat just starts to drag. I ended up running past enemies as much as possible and struggled to just get to the next checkpoint without having to actually fight. It all just got kind of boring. But an underwhelming third act isn't enough to hold Halo Reach back. If you've ever cared about Halo's multiplayer in the past, you'll probably go nuts with what's available in Reach. Matchmaking has been added to more modes this time, so if you want to play firefight mode with strangers, you totally can. Campaign matchmaking is also said to be in there, but as of this recording, there doesn't seem to be a playlist up and running that supports it. Firefight mode is made way more interesting via the addition of some different game types and the same type of options and tweaks that were introduced in Halo 3. Of course, the competitive multiplayer also benefits from this stuff, and the ability to create your own game types and map variants to share with the community is still in and still awesome. The game type tweaks are made deeper by Halo Reach's more robust feature set, so if you want to force everyone to use jetpacks or one of the other new armor abilities, you can. Or if you want to disable all that new stuff and go back to classic Slayer, that's an option too. Reach looks better than its predecessors. Character faces are sharper than they were in ODST, and overall the game's texture quality just seems better than the last couple of games. The frame rate is usually pretty good, though it does dip here and there, particularly for the campaign's cutscenes. Overall, Halo Reach isn't without issue, but it's nothing that should prevent you from picking it up if you're into the franchise. The campaign could have been tighter from a gameplay perspective, but it's worth seeing how it all comes together and fits into the existing framework of the Halo universe. And it's still the gold standard for console shooters when it comes to multiplayer variety and depth. Unless you're the sort of person who swore off Halo years ago, this one's probably right up your alley.